Let me ask you a simple question. If China is the future, why did Asia's richest man walk away? Li Kashing, the legendary tycoon known as Superman in Hong Kong, didn't just diversify his portfolio. He executed a strategic retreat, quietly, calculatedly, completely. He took his billions and ran. And if you think this is just another business decision, think again. Because when someone like Li Kashing starts pulling out of China, you should be paying attention. Before we get into what he did, let's first talk about who he is. Li Kashing isn't just a rich guy. He is the rich guy. Born in Guangdong in 1928, fled to Hong Kong during the Japanese invasion, studied with nothing but grit. He built an empire from plastic flowers to ports, telecoms, retail, energy, and real estate, you name it. At his peak, he was the richest man in Asia. People call Warren Buffett the Oracle of Omaha. In the East, Li Kashing was the Asian Warren Buffett. Low profile, but always 10 steps ahead. He's known for his extraordinary timing. He invests when others panic. He exits when others are still partying. So, when he decided to leave China, it wasn't noise. It was clear signal. Let's rewind to 2013. Xi Jinping had just come to power. The world was buzzing about the Chinese dream, Belt and Road, Made in China 2025. And while global investors were piling into China, Li Kashing was quietly doing the opposite. By 2015, he had already started selling major assets in mainland China. Shopping malls, office towers, commercial real estate, all gone. He pulled out over $13 billion in holdings. And where did he put that money? The UK, Canada, Europe, Australia. He bought water utilities, telecom companies, infrastructure ports, real long-term tangible assets in countries with rule of law. He even restructured his empire, consolidated into CK Hutchison and CK Asset Holdings, registered in Cayman Islands, headquartered in Hong Kong, but diversified globally. This wasn't a little portfolio rebalance. This was an empire-wide pivot. So why did Asia's richest man leave the fastest growing economy in the world? There's three big reasons. Reason one, Xi Jinping's authoritarian turn. After taking power, Xi made one thing clear. The Communist Party comes before everything. Private business must serve the party. Billionaires must show royalty. And Li Kashing had lived through Mao Zedong. He knew what this kind of centralization leads to. He wasn't going to wait around for that knock on the door. And reason number two, capital controls and business crackdowns. Beijing started restricting capital outflows. It tightened control over foreign deals. Then came the clampdowns on tech, education, real estate. Jack Ma vanished. Ant IPO was crushed. Evergrande imploded. Li Kashing saw the storm coming. He moved before the flood. And reason number three, the fall of Hong Kong. Li loved Hong Kong. It's where he built everything. But after the 2019 protests and the imposition of the national security law, he knew the game had changed. Even his attempt to stay neutral drew backlash from Beijing. He was labeled unpatriotic. That was the last warning shot. And it didn't stop there. In 2025, as we are talking, when Li tried to sell his stake in a major port operation in Panama, Chinese authorities quietly intervened. Beijing pressured Panama to block the sale, citing national security concerns. But let's be clear, it wasn't about security. It was about control. Li Kashing, despite distancing himself from China, was still being treated like a CCP asset. That was a clear message. You can physically leave China, but the party won't leave you. Even outside the mainland, if your business has strategic value to Beijing, they'll try to keep their tight grip on it. And that moment confirmed Li Kashing's worst fear. There's no such thing as being neutral when you have made your fortune under the CCP's shadow. Now, why this matters for China's future? Li Kashing's exit isn't just a business story, it's a symptom of something bigger. China wants to be a global superpower, but it's chasing capital away. Not just foreign investors, but its own business elites. When someone like Li Kashing with the best connections and the deepest pockets and roots decides to pull out, that's not a temporary trade. That's a verdict. It means the smartest people in the room don't trust the Chinese system. They don't believe in the long-term stability of Xi Jinping's China. They're not betting on the Chinese dream. They're betting against it. And this is the same country now dealing with a collapsing real estate market, youth unemployment so high that they're too embarrassed to publish the numbers, a demographic time bomb that fueled overseas infrastructure projects failing one by one. China is no longer rising, it's wobbling, and the rich are jumping the ship. So the next time you hear someone say, "Oh, China is the future," well, just ask them, why did Li Kashing leave? Why did Asia's most strategic billionaire liquidate almost all of his China exposure and move his empire abroad? Why did he take his $30 billion fortune and walk away? Because deep down, even Li Kashing knew no amount of GDP growth is worth staying in a system where the rules can change overnight. He didn't wait for the China collapse. He saw it coming. And now you do too. If you want more fact-driven breakdowns like this, subscribe, share, and drop your thoughts in the comments. This isn't about East versus West, America versus China. This is about freedom versus control. And when even the richest man in Asia chooses freedom over control, that tells you everything.